Hey, Cyclebreakers and barrier breakers alike. Welcome to the Fuck That Bullshit podcast, where we advocate, educate, motivate, and create a safe space for you to embrace the mental wealth of marginalized and disenfranchised communities. We are serving no bullshit knowledge, tools, strategies, and insights. And yes, we will be entertaining. Our goal each episode is for you to leave feeling empowered, ready to take action and make meaningful choices that pave the way to your abundant mental wealth. So enjoy, like, subscribe, share, and discuss. Make sure you save it too, just in case you want to look back at it and get some more tips and things. The PTBS podcast is for education, empowerment, and inspiration. It is not a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. If you're in need of additional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider. Warning: the Fuck That Bullshit podcast is intended for mature audiences only. This podcast contains raw, unfiltered conversations about mental health, social issues, and breaking generational cycles. We keep it real, unapologetic, and explicit because healing and empowerment require honesty. We're going to have strong language and adult themes, unfiltered discussions on race, identity, and mental wealth, challenging bullshit narratives without censorship. So if you're easily offended, this might not be for you, and it's definitely not for kids. But if you're ready for bold, barrier-breaking conversations that empower, educate, and entertain, tap in and let's fuck that bullshit together. Let's go. Hey, people, I'm back.
It's what it is. You done made it back. Made it back from the big wet.
Fuck That Bullshit podcast. Welcome. And we thank y'all. First, I want to say a shout out to my two co-hosts who did the damn thing last week.
Did that.
Like, I hope y'all enjoyed that. If you didn't see it, y'all got to go back and watch that. That was a good men's show.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate y'all ragging on me like y'all did either. Y'all was talking shit.
What, bro? We paid the tariff. We got you back.
Exactly.
That was so funny. Like we sold because of tariffs. I knew y'all gonna say something.
You know what I mean?
And then when I made the comment, and then y'all was like, "Go back, get drunk or something. Leave me alone." Like we got this.
You enjoying yourself. You all in the damn podcast. Watch the rewatch. You know, be a customer.
I'm telling you. And my daughter was sitting there watching me watch it and stuff because I remember that I didn't give y'all a graphic or nothing for the Cyclebreaker men's group, right?
Right.
And I was like, I want to, oh man. So I was like, I'm just gonna put it in the chat and we're gonna leave it at that. And stuff. And the whole time, my kid looked at me like, you're supposed to be off, right? You're supposed to be like having a good time.
Yeah.
What you doing? Like, I'm watching my podcast. But I put that in there and then I left it alone. But like, I was catching good parts though. But in its entirety, that was fire. That was absolutely fire. And I think we're gonna do more of that.
Definitely. Yeah, we
that
got
is a need.
Sure. We got
that's not a want. That's a need.
It is.
Right. And I like the fact me not being present. It gave freedom for y'all just to be men.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. When is your next vacation?
Whenever you need to. So we're gonna talk some more about doing more of that. I don't know. However often, if we got to make it a whole extra segment in itself, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
She said we had to tell her to get off the phone and enjoy herself.
Yeah.
Look, bro, that's true though. I'm always in a mindset of working and all that, and and I think, and before we started, we talked about how being on jobs that made you worry about work and all that kind of stuff or whatever. Like one of the is a gift and a curse of entrepreneurship because I don't have to think about it all the time, but because it's my
Right.
baby, I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's my passion, you know what I'm saying? So like, and it's just an extension of what I already do, but I get to talk to all the people.
Exactly. You know, it's different when you do what you love as opposed to just doing what you're good at, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You'll
Yeah,
almost do it for free.
almost.
Almost.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If other things, but this is the thing, if other things didn't cost money, then it wouldn't be a problem to do it for
This is
free. I
true.
could do it for the enjoyment.
This is true.
But lots of stuff costs money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like rent is high.
It's too high. It's too
Yeah.
high.
Car notes is high,
Yeah.
especially with high interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 And then that car gonna break. So
Yeah. And
repairs
then you
are
have to fix it.
You know what I'm
Right?
saying? It
I
repairs
put
are
gas in it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, it's capitalism. If
It's
it weren't for
all
capitalism,
Yeah.
I could do therapy services for free. We could do all kind of stuff for free. We just be having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No capitalism.
Me and my wife was just talking about y'all remember the house we had on Wayfair Street back
Yeah.
then in the East?
Yeah.
Freaking house note, bro, was under $1,000.
Right.
Wow.
Today though.
No, when I was
Today,
living next door to my mom in that double, I
Mhm.
think I was paying $300 a month for rent.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember back when I was
them
paying 200. I remember paying
Yeah.
200. And I remember I got a house on the Bunk Bank across the river, you know, off Manhattan Boulevard.
Did you say the bunk bank? You ain't said it was, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the Bunk Bank, man.
All right. Make sure I heard that right.
And our rent was $500 a month. I was like, boy, we living in the lap of luxury out here. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Little did we know. Fast forward.
Not if you find rent for $1,200. You
Right.
especially up this way.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we in a 3-bedroom house, and it's in a decent neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And 1995.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the one we was in before that was 2,300, and there was an extra
Austin
bedroom
is
in upstairs at a little house.
expensive.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah. And if I hadn't moved out of the apartment I was in, it was going up to like 2,500.
Right. We tried that apartment thing thinking we was gonna save, but looking at what it costs now, it's like ain't no way I
Cheaper
would
to rent a house.
$2,000 for a fucking apartment. Ain't no way.
Mm-mm.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, to have people on the side and above and below and
Yeah.
no, thank you, no, thank you.
You want to set your apartment on fire? You set mine on fire too. Fuck that.
Thank you, like exactly.
We all
you
gonna
affect me directly.
Right.
Oh Lord, if you don't spray for roaches and take care of your roaches, your roaches will come over here.
You sharing them motherfuckers.
Yeah, you sharing them. Hey, facts.
We used to
for
sing
real.
in our apartment all the time, and we always figured we was bothering the neighbors or whatever. But they used to come out and be like, I like it when y'all do that. I really enjoy that. I was like, that's because we could actually sing. If we couldn't sing, you'd be mad. And you're like, I like it. You know. So today we are doing, this is the season finale, y'all. We made it to the season finale.
Exactly. And I want to thank everybody taking this journey with us, you know.
Yeah. This is a good first season, and I'm proud of us. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, people, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I ain't consistent with shit. I am consistent at being inconsistent, right?
There you go.
And so when we got to like episode 3 or 4, and we were still consistent, you know what I'm saying? Having co-hosts help you with that. I just want y'all to know that having co-hosts help you with accountability. So if it was just me, I'd be like, I ain't doing it today. I don't feel like it. You know? I'm not consistent.
She on your ass today, bro.
I am a work in progress. Okay. But we made it to this level. Now, this is just the first season. We coming right back.
Right, and we ain't gonna do y'all like Netflix and take 5 years for season.
I promise.
This shit, you know.
We take about 4 weeks off, you know, because we gotta balance. You know what I'm saying? We need self-care.
Gotta
take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And all that, you know. And we got to prepare for next season because this was so good and successful. We already got a lineup for all 11 episodes for next season. We might have to switch some stuff up, so we're gonna take out what they are.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, because anything could come up, you know what I'm saying? You know, but
oh, thank you, baby.
No,
That's why she number one. She number one.
They try to make sure she stayed number one.
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody taking my spot.
We call this episode "Fuck That Forget What You Heard" bullshit. We're gonna rewind, we're gonna reclaim, we're gonna reload. So we're gonna go back over some highlights and stuff and things that we liked about all the episodes so far and all that. Maybe get some new ideas or something like that. Because every episode is a part one, right?
All the time.
And all that.
All the time.
We started out with what we started out with? Black Power.
Yeah.
Black Power.
Here's one of our clips from the Black Power episode.
It fucks with your mental, but the bad piece of it is you start to comply with it. Right. It becomes the normal. There's a reason why you had the black side and the white side on the lake. Right. And we never protested about the fact that it was a black side and a white side. Nope. We accepted the fact that this is our side, that's y'all side.
That was an intense conversation.
It was. I was feeling it. Hey, you know something?
What?
On the first episode, I had on this shirt.
And then you round it back around. You turned it back around. Yes, we are.
Rewind. I done rewound. Check me out.
That's what's up. That is what's up.
It wasn't even on purpose either. That's what's up.
See, it just happens like that. The universe be universing. You know what I'm saying?
Doing that.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of shirts, y'all know ChatGPT is one of my favorite AI friends, my chat homie, and all that. And he brought up an idea, speaking of shirts, that we need to start doing some merchandise too. You know what I'm saying? We can make up, y'all say funny stuff all the time. We can put that on a t-shirt or something. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah. We're gonna, we can have one like check your internet.
That's the thing. Oh my God.
Check your internet.
When I was going back looking for clips, I was like, man, we really messed with people about their internet really bad.
Asher mentioned it. I think Lil Fred internet was he was like,
yucking out.
He was like, you don't think it's internet. I said, oh, bro.
Michelle
internet went out. Mine was tripping one day. Fred's always tripping. You know what I'm
saying? Hey. We got that fixed. Me and AT&T got that all squared away. All right.
See, when Rochelle internet went out, she left her house.
When she went over there with
the Brittany house. I ain't going no goddamn well. I was like, God damn. People gonna hear you. You know,
check your internet, people. Check your internet. What y'all feel like? What y'all get out of the first episode? We talking about oppression and Black Power and Black excellence.
Yeah, I think the first episode, for one, I think it was a good intro. You know what I mean? Kind of, kind of stabilizing. Like this is where we at. And I definitely take pride in the fact that we're not going to talk about bullshit events. And I ain't even gonna call them bullshit events. I'm gonna call them generic events.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who zooming, who done broke up with who.
Right.
And that kind of bullshit. I think that it kind of solidified like this is the area we coming from. It's serious, right. It's serious conversation, but it's lighthearted at the same time. Right. And I like the points, and really I feel like a lot of the points we brought out were points that raise questions, because the whole thing
right.
with Black Power, with Black excellence, with the current situation of the climate of racism or not, or the make-believe racism in right. today's time, we don't have the answers.
Right,
we don't have the answers. And I think that solidified, like, we're here to start the conversation so you can continue it somewhere else, and that's really how you come up with solutions. Like, this is what we think and what you think.
Right. I like that too. And I think it was a good foundation because it weaved itself into everything, every other episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Every episode came back around to Black excellence and Black power and being proud in our Blackness and, taking care of ourselves and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to always be our underlying thing because, we Black people.
Right. And and it just pointed out, like, this is our foundation.
That's our foundation. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. No gossip. Yes. Yeah. Because
you know what?
And I'm not shaming nobody at all. If
not
that's
at
your
all.
thing, if that's what you like and that's what you do, do your thing. Like, and do it with excellence and all that. I don't like talking about that stuff. Like, I don't care what's happening in Hollywood. I don't care.
Right. And the truth is like one of my favorite podcasts to watch. And shout out to Joe Buttons. Joe Buttons is one of my favorite podcasts to watch. But the thing is there's so many of those. You know what I mean? They everywhere, from Drink Chaps, Peace to Matt Hova, dealing with some things. But it's a lot of shows already. You know what I mean? It's a lot of podcasts already like that. And if you want to have a serious conversation, even the ones you jump on and you think it's a serious conversation, it's gimmicky. You know what I mean? It's gimmicky. People on there popping balloons and all of that. It's fine for entertainment, but
it's very entertaining.
Right. Yeah. For a natural conversation, like we was all sitting in your backyard,
right,
having a drink and talking about something. That's what this is,
Right. And it's part of what we talked about too. And we talked about doing this together as well, because again, like Brian, we spent at your house every weekend just having these conversations. They didn't have mics and they didn't have internet.
Exactly. That was back in the late 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, we old.
I lived it. We still alive though. That's what counts.
Yeah, and kicking. Yeah, and kicking. Fred, what you feel like your best thing from the Black Power episode was?
I think the best thing I got from the Black Power episode is that, like, one, I think we kind of debunked the Black excellence thing. I think it gets thrown, because it gets thrown around too much, and I don't think a lot of people really know what it
really is.
What it really means.
That's funny you say that, because as I was trying to create clips for this, that's what I was trying to put together, is that particular clip where we was talking about what Black excellence is. So, like, I feel that. I absolutely feel that. Well, good.
And just like a general, you don't have to be on the front lines to, fight for the cause. Because I think a lot of stuff now, people be like, if you're not out in the street protesting, you're not doing nothing. I gotta go to work. I ain't got time to be protesting at 1:00 in the evening.
Right. Yes.
But I can do a lot. I'm doing my part right here.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my part when I educate young Black kids that I talk to, and talk to my sons and nieces and nephews. I'm doing my part.
And like on that subject, I remember, and this was like years ago. Blue was having a party. Y'all don't know. Fred, you done met Blue. She used to live right next door to Dad. And Chris used to call her Blue. And
I know what you're talking about.
And I remember they was having a party, and I walked in there, and that was me and Monique. And we walked in, and somebody introduced her to us, and she was saying she was writing a book about Black Power. And so I was like, damn, man, that's dope. And the woman looked me in my face and said, would you let your son die for the cause? And I was like, no. Because number one, at that time, my son was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Right. And matter of fact, I don't even think, Dude was born. Dude was a baby. So little Brian was even younger. Devontae was not even younger, but both of them, like, I'm just picturing my sons, and I'm like, they babies, no, what I'm saying? And she was like, well, you don't understand the cause. I said, well, let me ask you something. Do you have kids? She said, no. I said, well, let me give you some advice. Don't ever ask nobody else that question. You know what I mean? You don't even earn the right to ask nobody.
That's right.
You don't even know, but you can't imagine what that kind of loss is.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So and I think that's when I really started looking at, like going back to that whole front line thing. It's like every piece of the thing has its part. It plays its part.
Right.
Because if you had a 2025 whatever your favorite car is, and you had the best motor and the best transmission and the best interior and the best everything on that, and everybody like, oh my God, this is such an awesome car, but you ain't had no goddamn tires. The car ain't going nowhere. Exactly. So to say that the motor is more important than the tire,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing that
you go on and try to run your car without the alternator.
Exactly. So every piece of a thing matters. Every piece of a thing matters. And even back then, we was doing our part. That's you know what I'm saying? And with the same type of vigor. But you think because you wrote a book and you're willing to let your imaginary child die for the struggle that you're doing something? It's like, nah, that's a stupid ass question to ask somebody.
You know what the question she should have asked though? Would you respect your child's decision?
Exactly.
Because I would not let my child die for the cause. But if my child chose a position that might cause death, and that's a part of the cause, I would respect my child's decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's and again, people look at that like, oh, that statement was black excellence. It wasn't. It wasn't black excellence. No. That was black ignorance.
It's not even that. I mean, it's not even that. The people that died for the cause sat down, made a choice. They knew if I do this, and this, if I go out here and sit at this in this restaurant on this bar stool, there's a chance that some white man gonna come with a goddamn billy club and split my skull in half. I'm willing to do it so my future children can go ahead and do that. So, that was a stupid question. If you don't have kids, how you don't know how it feels when your baby roll out the bed and hit the floor.
Right.
Exactly.
You think a lot of people think like, oh my God, I'm the worst parent in the world. No, your kid just rolled out the floor. Next time, put their ass in the crib.
Yeah. And when you get the child 2 or 3, you realize it's gonna be all right if they roll off of you.
Yep. Hey, look, it's Asher.
Asher, occupational hazard. They were prepared for the outcome, but the goal was that it wouldn't come to that. Right.
Exactly. Look, and you know what? On Asher's point, I've said that over and over again because I hate when people say people died for your right to vote, and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but they didn't die for my right to vote. They were murdered for my right to vote. They didn't go out there and say, man, I can't wait to die for the right to. I know they wanted to vote too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They
happen to be casualties of the war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why I went back to what I said before. It's like that's why we ain't out there now. Because every time we go out there, we gotta sacrifice. Gotta be a blood sacrifice.
Blood sacrifice.
I'm gonna talk about that blood sacrifice when we get to that episode.
Okay, all right. Let's move to that episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2 was interracial relationships. He's a little clip from that one. And then there's another statement that he makes sometimes that, underneath it all, you're internally racist or at least have low self-worth within your black space, I'm gonna say, in order to be going to the other side, right? Like, what about that though? What if it's unconscious? What if I ain't plotting and planning and scheming, but maybe I don't feel good about being a black person. I think white people are better, and so I'm gonna go over there and holler.
They need therapy.
Yeah. That was very simple.
You know what? I want to talk about my response because re-listening to some people do need fucking therapy.
They do, yeah.
with that situation. But at the same time, I can see if you think that something else is better. But when
where did you get that thought? Who taught you that?
But when it comes to your race, the only way you can think that being black is somehow dirty or lazy or whatever it is you're thinking that's negative, you got that shit from somebody else. And it wasn't a black person. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they were suffering from the same affliction.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
For
real.
For
real.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, what we thought about the interracial episode? I know Nay out there listening. She was on that episode. Thank you, Nay.
Yeah, you know what? A little bit off subject. I see what y'all was talking about. I did look uninterested, and Nay looked like she was asleep.
You go back and watch it.
You know what? I meant to text Nate too and tell her, like, look, baby.
Yeah, no, she knew. She knew after the episode, and they said, okay, so is it okay if I like cut my camera off? Or like I said, whenever you're ready, because that's a long time to sit. Right. And especially if you have ADHD. Right. I have ADHD, but I keep myself active in the conversation and all that.
I'm gonna get a Rubik's Cube.
Something. So this George, matter of fact, is the Meta Association.
Oh, that's
I saw that when I went to George. I went to that page and I was like, "Oh, this George," because I saw you on a video with him. So me
and George be doing stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
George said it may be the allure of the taboo that those may feel in the onset of an interracial relationship. But as in every relationship, there must be compatibility and respect regardless of race. That's a good wrap up of that episode, too.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Me and Nate gonna start doing commercials on our off time.
That's what y'all should do. Yeah. Because everybody got a lot of stuff to say, but while you're waiting to say it, especially if you're trying to monitor not interrupting, because as an ADHDer, we interrupt a lot and all that. So she was trying to wait for her moment, but still,
But you know what? I'm gonna give her the permission slip that is forever. Anytime she on and she want to interrupt. But only Nate can do that. Anybody else will be like, hold up, partner. I was saying what I was saying. There you go, man.
And George says, honestly, after a while, you and your partner almost forget that they're in a mixed relationship. It's only when outside people bringing up that it's an issue. And we brought that up.
Yeah. And that makes sense, because the thing is those two people that love each other, they are people.
They're just people that love each
other. They're not a white person and a black person. They just two people. Because I recently realized, like, it's a lot of pressure being in an interracial relationship. It's like I was talking to my son, and he was talking about a recent issue. The young man got into it with these two with these two twin white guys, and he wound up stabbing one of them. And he called me, and he was like, Dad, why it gotta be a black and white thing all the time? And I could hear the frustration, and he's in an interracial relationship. And it's like, why it gotta be like that all the time? And I'm like, it's white people, son.
Literally, and that's all.
It's because it's not us. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't create racism. We didn't make racism a thing at all. We wouldn't have cared what call it. Shit, they created race. Everybody was just where they were from.
Everybody was just exactly.
They were where they were from.
Everybody was where they was from. Yeah.
But I could hear his frustration. But at the same time, I knew his frustration wasn't just coming from this incident. His frustration was coming from, I'm in an interracial relationship, and I don't want us to have to deal with this type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you shouldn't, and you right. You know what I'm saying? But it's white people. They perpetuate the black and white thing. You know what I'm saying? All we ever really ask is, if something stupid happened, we'll go to somebody like, man, you heard what happened? That dude shot up the mall. Hey, bro. Was it us?
Praise God. All right. What happened?
Remember last time I asked that question that deeply?
Yeah.
What it was, the DC Sniper.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like white people shit.
Yeah.
And then they said that man was
And
black.
then
I was like,
I was so disappointed.
Like, just want to know.
Yep.
Exactly. But you know what's so crazy though, B? Blackish did a whole episode on that with when they were sitting down watching TV, making bets to see if it was a black person or a white person with the school school shooting. It was crazy because the daughter like, oh my God, Dad, somebody died. Then my man go, but it wasn't us. And everybody high five. I'm like,
and it's sad that has to be a celebration for us that it wasn't us.
Right. But I mean, but you know what? Some of that is us holding us accountable. Because like I said, even when my son was talking about that, he was like, but what about black on black crime? I said, boy, you know damn well. I know what I taught you. He said, I know there's no such thing as black on black crime. I was like, right, there's just fucking crime. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I get what he was saying, and even into and you know, next season we'll be talking about the music piece. But I was like I said, you know, our whole entity kind of our outside entity perpetuates that. What they ignore is shows like Blackish. Because
that's right.
You know what I mean? They ignore shows like Blackish or anything Spike Lee ever did. Or anything John Singleton ever did. And they keep trying to minimize Sinners right now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to minimize the shit out of Sinners right now. Black Panther was epic. And the highest and sold more than they said if they added up all the Marvel movies except for Black Panther still sold more than all the rest. That shit is black excellence.
That's black excellence.
And for real, fucking Boomerang, which to me is solidified. Boomerang literally was a black movie. But it wasn't about black people being black. We was just regular ass people, and it was a nice comedy. I'm watching that shit again. I'm watching that shit tonight. But it was literally just a black. Those things are black excellence. But we recreated the narrative to be big booties and having money and going on trips and getting flued out. Flued out. I hate that fucking term. Flew out. And it was funny when it was funny when what's her name? Belle B off one of the Tyler Perry movies. When she said it, I'm getting flued out, my dear. When she said it, it was funny. But when anybody else said it pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But it's like that. And you know what I'm saying? I get that frustration, but
yes.
It's rough, man. It's rough. That was a good episode, though.
It really was. We got to talk about that some more too. That was just part one, y'all. Third episode was accountability. That was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorites. And inspired by lots of folks in my life and all that. And I like that episode because we all need to hold ourselves accountable. Like that's the problem. That's the biggest problem, right? And like you said a minute ago, part of our thing here is holding ourselves and other people accountable. We don't talk about what other people do without talking about what we do too, right? And so I do it as a therapist. I'm like, nah, I'm not no different than you. I still got to hold myself accountable, right? And it's a staple in my practice, like high accountability. Like I'm gonna hold you very, very accountable for your decisions and your choices, and all that. You know, and anything particular about wait, let me play the little clip that we have for them. That was episode 3. Wait. Oh, George said, I love when black media stands on its own excellence without patronizing or pacifying people. You're right about that shit.
I know.
So you have to learn yourself too going into that.
Right.
And you know, you have to hold your personality in accountability. You know what I'm saying? Because your personality will spill over into a relationship, and you expect your significant other, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, to treat you. And I had to admit, I said I almost expect my significant other to treat me like a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I really had to dial myself back. I'm like, dude, you're a regular ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Last relationship showed you that. She rolled out on your ass like a motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, and so you believe in your own swag.
Do you think that contributed to that though? Your last marriage?
No.
Okay.
No. But I do know that my that you at the initial pieces of the breakup,
Okay.
I didn't get it. And I knew why, and later, years later, I figured out like the reason why I didn't get it was because I was thinking, how could you leave me?
I believe in myself, y'all.
You believe in yourself a lot.
My mama said,
a lot.
I am handsome. You know what I'm saying? That was a good fucking episode. But you know what? You know what I do love about that episode? That even though we was talking about accountability, we wasn't just sitting there throwing it on other people's accountability.
Right.
Yeah, we were banging back on our own accountability. And yeah, right. It's like I'm accustomed to being the life of the party. And for real, that's Dad's fault. For real. And that's what I blame. I'm gonna blame it on my dad.
Where it needs to go.
Because I would watch my father walk into a room and everybody was like, "Hey, Fred, no, I was at Fred." And he'd be like, "All right, man, all right." And then he'll look at me and go, he'll like, "Yeah, son, I don't even know who that dude is, man." and so when I would go places, I started doing the same thing. Only the people didn't know me. I would literally walk in, "Hey, all right, bro." And people would be like, "Hey, man, what's happening? What's happening?" And if I was with a chick, I'd be like, "See, they know me up in here." You know what I'm saying? My persona publicly is always Dad. I do it, and I do it on purpose. I do it, and it's because you know how you got your go-to. Because like sometimes when I'm in a situation, I'll say, "What would Idris Elba do in a situation like this?" You know, and then I do what I think Idris Elba do, and I'm telling you, I got this list of people. You know what I mean? Because when I'm working on shit, especially if it's tool shit, I'll be like, "How would Papa make this shit work?" You know what I'm saying? And then you're my ancestors, though. Living or dead.
That's right.
I'm a pull from you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But with Dad, my character and personality publicly is like that. I always try to come this big, but it's not arrogance. It's not. It's true confidence. Arrogance, because for real, I'm a humble dude, like a mug, y'all. Goddamn, I'm a humble dude. Now, that's the truth. Now, don't come for me. But man, that was a good episode. I'm so glad we can rag on people. I'm glad we're not them kind of people.
Yeah, we're not them kind.
But it's crazy. But it's crazy though that you say that, because I think a while back I thought about that. I act just like my father, because my go-to catch is everybody love Fred. Everybody love Fred.
Oh my God, that is. He said everybody love Fred.
Everybody love Fred. And really, everybody
love Fred.
Yeah.
I don't care Fred get on your everlasting nerve. You still love Fred.
And my man, not my manager, my director at my job was like, because everybody like you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because like Brian said, that's my daddy. He walk in the room, everybody love Fred.
Right.
Everybody love Fred. Fred walk in the room, everybody light up. They get all excited, like Santa Claus walking in with the red bag full of toys.
That's a superpower, yo.
Yeah. And I mean, because my dad gave me a lot of advice, but I think one of the most important and it's very simple things he said to me was like, "Don't be an asshole." And I'm like, that's right. Because nobody likes a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody likes an asshole.
Yeah, he told me like, "Yeah, you're a Turner. Don't be an asshole." Like I tell little Fred that every time he do something crazy, I'll be like, "Hey, you're a Turner. Don't do that.
Don't be an asshole."
Right.
Don't be embarrassing me out there in the streets.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But it's crazy.
You gonna do something that's gonna make somebody not like Fred?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't do that shit.
But I think for me, it's a little. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we definitely need to come back next season with an accountability thing too.
Yeah.
Because that was a good episode.
Yeah. All right. All right, our next one was our 50-50 to 100. Now I don't have no more clips because I couldn't find no more to pull up because I ain't been on top of that part of the game.
Okay, it's all right.
Next time. But yeah, we did the 50-50 episode, and the part of the 50-50 one I liked the most was teaching balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like we taught people balance, and we talked about that there was no right answer.
Right.
There's no right answer. It just depends on where you at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Because most people think 50-50 is money. The majority of people think when you say 50-50, the first thing they think about is money. No. Like Brian said, he work at home.
Right.
He do the dishes. He cook. I do the same thing. My wife don't do the dishes. She can.
Right.
But I adopted that job.
Right.
So that's what I do because she do this like my wife do taxes. I know how, but I don't. You know why? Because I don't like doing taxes.
Why would you? If that's what she tried, roll with it.
Yeah, I know how to do other shit, but I don't know how to do no shit. Let me do your taxes. You're going to jail.
I can do simple taxes, but when I started the business, I was like, this is too complicated. I need to hire somebody.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So, the 50-50 episode though, yeah, that was good. And I hope that we, kind of hip to people who were looking at it from just a money aspect.
Right.
Because doing your part, and I mean, even historically, you know, back when women, quote unquote, couldn't work, their 50% was household duties. Right. And I think one of the things that kind of fucked up the whole 50-50 groove historically was because that man went to work and brought the money home. He felt like, and I'm not saying all men, just the men that do, felt like they was the top of the line shit. But truth be told, and usually when those women left those men couldn't make it. They couldn't function a household without that woman. You know what I'm saying? So that little 50% that was not financial counted a lot more than they thought,
Right. Yeah. So your contribution is your contribution, and depends on what you need in your relationship. Y'all got to work that out.
Exactly.
Our next episode was the power of hope. Fuck that penny with a hole in it shit.
We so should have used that song. We could have kept that shit under 7 seconds and just ran the instrumental. That shit
Oh God. So the power of hope, and that's when we brought the Blackish episode. Right. We talked about the power of hope. And Fred brought up, just like we saw hope in Obama, lots of white folks see hope in Knucklehead, and stuff like that.
But they did.
And I think that was real. That was really profound.
Right.
Yeah. That was real
because
profound.
People talk to me, even Trumpers.
Yeah.
And
you're non-threatening.
I am. I'm a non-threatening black guy. But as long as you don't mess with me.
You can't be threatening as long as you're not threatened.
Right.
That's right. That's how I get to infiltrate other organizations. But yeah, they actually said, I had a lady that actually said he gave me hope that stuff was going to get better. He's one of us. And in my mind, I'm saying, no, ma'am.
No,
he's not one of y'all. But that's what I saw. She's looking for hope. She's poor. She's white. The world telling her that pretty soon they're going to be the minority.
Right. And she sees how they treat minorities.
Right.
And she sees how they treat minorities.
That's the I think that's the piece that they don't admit. They don't admit.
I cannot be the minority because look at how they treat minorities. I don't want to be in that position.
Right. And I can guarantee you there's white people who had that hope and was like, oh shit, I know what they do to I know what I hear. You know what I'm saying? And I see how minorities are treated. I don't want to be treated. And you know, everything comes back to that fear that black people are going to do to us what we
did to them.
Yeah, which
the turnaround.
I can almost guarantee y'all we ain't got time for that shit.
I mean, there are some black people out there that won't split your head wide open, but you know, for the majority of us, you know, I don't. I know that. I just want you to leave me the hell alone and let me do my thing.
Like that, I think even those people that talk like that, if given the if things were flipped around and we did not have to fight for, then the anger of that will be gone.
Exactly.
So you wouldn't want to do it. You'd be like, oh, this is all I really want.
Yeah.
So
because the whole thing is in real life, we're not throwing our lives away to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? And they need to get off. And that's why I hate them dumbass shows. The dumbass nigga movies is what I call them. That make it seem like our whole point and focus is to fail. Because it's selling dope is failure. You know what I'm saying? You basically saying, nigga, I don't know how to do nothing else. I can't count, but I can count them keys. You know what I'm saying? And then we stuck in that fucking narrative because people would rather believe we are BMF than believe we are Blackish or the fucking Huxtables because we are those people too. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, we not throwing our lives away to bust nobody in the head. But I like that in that episode, Fred, when you brought up like when you asked that question, like, do you think that Trump give this group of people hope? And I was like,
I didn't think about it.
I was not thinking about the people. I was not thinking about the people.
Nobody thinks about it because everybody hates Trump.
Right.
But why do these people? I don't either. I don't hate him. I don't hate the man. I ain't got no reason to hate him. You know. But why do these people love this man so much that he can blatantly, like even right now? I met this old white man, had on a everything Trump said was right hat. I didn't bring up this conversation. They started talking about politics at the table. He couldn't. Good ass.
We got you. You have the right.
He couldn't defend nothing that the other white guys at the table were saying about Trump, but he's still loyal. Yeah. So even though they see it's like you walking in the house, your wife in the bed with some other dude, and you just turn around and walk out the door, and then for the next 15 years, you don't never say nothing about it.
You never say nothing. Yeah.
But but they all operating out of fear. I mean, it's fear. We all operate out of fear. Everybody operates out of fear. Yeah. We all got a fear of something. Right. You know, I go to dumb bullshit jobs because I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be living underneath the bridge.
Right.
Right.
Yep. That was good, y'all. That's good. So keep hope alive.
That hope.
But don't have hope without action, because that was the other theme of that.
Right. Yeah. And that was the closing point on hope.
Yeah. Hope without action is nothing. You got to be active.
Yeah.
Our next episode was Willful Ignorance. That was another one of my favorites.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was one of my favorites.
I think that was your best episode there, Brian. You had some damn good points.
Yeah, I was very passionate about that.
Yeah, you were ready for that one.
Because so many encounters that we have with people, and Brian, we was just talking about that before we started, right? The fact that you'll talk to some people and you know that they know better than what they saying, or at least they got access to know better, and then they still stick to their same narrative intentionally just because it's too hard. It's gonna fuck up my whole belief system if I listen to that one thing that you're saying and all that. Then I got the dismantle. I don't want to dismantle everything. I'd rather keep the fake house up.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd rather keep this fake house up than deal with the truth, because the truth is difficult. Yeah. It is difficult. But I don't think it's worth it.
It's not, and it won't change anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the movies when you when you the fucking tidal wave is coming, the motherfuckers just gonna keep acting like we'll be okay. We'll be like, don't tell me that shit. You see that wall of water right there. You know what I'm saying? We about to die. Like, just get in the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's okay to realize your doom.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. If ain't nothing you could do, ain't nothing you could do.
Ain't nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, hug your kids, let the tidal wave come. You know what I'm saying?
To go back to something like last week on CNN, I saw some veterans, because of course the news like to talk to people after, Trump then flipped on them, but they was losing their benefits and they was still backing the man. Right. Even though they knew he was the reason why they were losing a lot of their VA benefits. And the one man lost his job at the VA because Tesla man said they was stealing money or something, he said.
Right.
Yeah.
But
everybody there, everybody that worked for the government is just stealing the money.
Yeah. And he like he couldn't say nothing. All he could say is, "Yeah, Mr. Trump gonna fix it." No, he not. And in your mind, in your brain, in the thinking part of your brain, not the primal part, he not gonna do it. That little small brain that's surrounded by the big brain, he not gonna do it.
Well,
you just don't, like you said, it's too hard to admit.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Yeah,
I voted for the wrong guy. No, I didn't like the black lady, but maybe I should have voted for her, and I still have a job and be in VA benefit.
Maybe.
Right.
And you could have just talked shit about her for the next 4 years, like you always do.
Exactly.
But at least you would have been talking shit about her at the coffee machine, at your job,
at your goddamn job. Yeah.
And you'll be getting your check.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, and that reminded me of this story I heard. And I don't remember what movie. It was from. But it was like it was a story. It was talking about this man. He was on top of this building. Building was like 50 stories up, and he fell off the side of the building. And as he was falling down the building and falling past the windows, people would hear him say, "So far, so good," as he passed these windows. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is you know how this shit is going.
You know how it is.
You know how this shit is going fucking in.
Yeah.
And that's what those people, especially in the political on the political subject, with that willful ignorance. It's like you're watching you literally looking at the thing crumble apart.
Yeah.
You're looking at failure after failure after failure. Like even other Republicans are starting to be like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm
I shared some shit on my Facebook today where this one Republican congressman was like, yo, man, you did some shit with LNG, cut him off. And he was like, why did you do that? You're about to fuck us up. And Trump was like, I didn't do that. And he was like, yeah, you did. Look right here, motherfucker, right here, you did it. And he was like, nah, I didn't cut it off. We going to investigate it. He said, no, that's not what you signed. And he was like, I didn't know I signed that.
See?
And I'm telling you, when I shared it, I said, well, there y'all go. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker just sitting there signing fucking paperwork.
Yeah, they just showing and he just signing and they telling what they want to hear and all that. But there was another one, this lady I saw that talked about it had something to do with like cutting off a relationship with where they do the ports or something, one of the main ports or something, whatever it was. But he was like angry about it. He's like, and who did that? I need to know who did that. And they're like, you did. Last time you was in office, you signed this thing that Obama had put in place for us to have this relationship so that this would be good. And then you undid that. And so it's you. Mm-hmm. Go look in the mirror, be mad with yourself.
Exactly.
So like
that's why if you 78 years old, you should not be allowed to run the country.
Yeah.
If you 78 years old,
there's a minimum age. There should be a maximum age.
Thank you.
All the time.
Thank you. You're not gonna let your 95-year-old grandmother drive herself to the snow.
Right. Exactly.
Why is he? I mean, I think Joe Biden did have a little bit of dementia.
He did.
Because I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, his ass needs to be in the retirement home somewhere. And so do Donald Trump.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that dude. You too old to be the freaking president.
A lot of them need to go. A lot of them need to go. Yeah. Because I mean, if you was born in the 1800s,
right? Shut up.
It's hard to come out of that. I mean, and look, here's the perfect example. Me and Rock. Shout out to Rock 2-1 for life. Me and Rock talk all the time, and a lot of times, we talking about the fucking 90s.
The 90s.
Yeah, we talking about our heyday. We talking about the times when we was getting everything was popping out here. You know what I'm saying? For us, you know what I mean? And a lot of these old and no other way to put it, old white people in office.
That's their heyday.
Right, their behaviors and the basis of their thought processes are on their heyday. Yeah. And for them, their heyday might have been when they could say, "Sit your ass down, nigga." You know what I mean? Right, they trying to get back to that. Trying to get back.
Yeah. So do you think, even though like racism is still taught and all that kind of stuff, do you think that as those people start to die, that things should transition a little bit better? Like,
it's going to be a slow process, because I think there's a lot of younger white people that believe that this is a good thing, or it's a supposed thing. You know what I mean? It's like that scenario if you lived in a family and the whole family lived close together, and the family was a close-knit family. And everybody went to Harvard or Purdue. Everybody went to college, in other words.
Right.
Everybody has a college degree.
Right.
Then it would be hard for you to say, man, I ain't going to no damn body college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be hard for you to come out of that mentality. And you know what I'm saying? What else I said?
You said we have to keep in mind that younger ones are being sold the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like they are being taught the same thing.
Oh, most definitely. Like I just found out today that one of my kids' friends, his mom was like, she don't really want him hanging out with black kids until she gets to know him. So I'm thinking, like, what you need? Approval? We gotta get your approval. But here's the clincher. Her son been hanging around my kids for the last 5 years. They've been best friends for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Because we live close to the dads, and the mom lives a little ways away. I'm like, they've been friends for 5 years. He don't.
And if you need approval, you should need approval for all kids then.
Exactly. And because Melissa was playing him, and he was like, she's just protective. Melissa was like, she's
just racist.
Your mama racist.
She's just racist.
He was like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? but right, because even to him, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. And I'm like, they've been friends for 5 years. The boy, we literally said, hey, stop knocking when you come over here, just come in the house. He's that status. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you coming with this 5 years later, baby, you late.
You late.
He done ate at our dinner table. He done spent the night 100,000 times.
Yeah. Like we all besties now.
They was going to initiate him in the Crips of the blood. Exactly. This dude damn near family. I'm putting him on my income tax next month.
Exactly.
The fucking dog.
All right, let's move to the next episode. Our next thing was black folks versus brown folks. Gustavos Negros.
Oh, the Gustavos, baby. That was a good one. That was a real good one. And plus
now that one gave like we got some hate on that one though, y'all. We got
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
yeah. Which I did not. I wasn't surprised by. Because I found that the more conversations we have about our two cultures melding and getting together, and and even when you talk about the power in it, people recognize the power that it can have, but they do not believe that it can happen. They don't believe that it can happen. As you said, there was a small jump in Trump voters in the younger voters. Yeah.
You got to get up to get down, Asha.
Yeah. So
what did the hate sound like? You remember?
It sounded like, that's never gonna happen. That we'll never bond together. Black folks and brown folks will never be able to do that. And they chose their fighter. Like, so, and there was a lot of, and mostly and I didn't see any people who seemed to be Hispanic, seemed to be black folks. Who the comments were more, that's not happening because basically like they don't like us, and until they get a clue. But that's what these conversations are about.
Right. And that's can't put it no better than that. That was the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not like that. Now, I think a lot of people, and I'm not saying that this is a fact, so don't come for me. but I think that a lot of people are basing it on the recent election.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And they're basing it on the recent election. And I think in the Hispanic community, because I've met Hispanics, and like I said on a podcast, that identify as white. You know what I mean? So, which was brand new and confusing to me, because like I said, I didn't know they even thought about identifying as white. You know what I'm saying? I thought they had their own thing. They loved their own thing, and that's who they, and that was all it was to it.
Right.
So I was surprised
to find out in every Hispanic culture there is this glorification of whiteness.
Right.
But
we
learned a lot.
Yeah. Whew. You like shit. I was. Man,
we gotta have more talks about this.
Right. He was breaking that down. What was the term? The whole don't marry down term.
Oh shoot! Now I can't remember exactly what it was. Did I write it down? I think I did write it down. I don't know. I'm gonna find it.
All right.
Yeah.
But
it's basically like purify the race or something like that.
Right. And it's crazy because with that term to say it's and ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners, we are not saying that this is the actual term in case we're wrong.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But if the term is purify the race, and that process is marrying white people to basically almost erase the Latino race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least in the black community, girl, marry up. We got good credit. You know?
Yeah.
Because once you go white, your credit get right. You know at least for us, it's a financial gain. And
it's improved the race.
Oh, improved the race.
I don't know if I'm saying this right, so
but that's the same. But you got to think about it though. When if they're coming through the immigrations the right way, the only people that they see is white. The people that they talk to are white.
Right.
When they tell them how to function in the United States, a white person is telling them how to function in the United States.
Right. But the only thing I disagree with that is before they got to the United States.
And that's what I was going to say.
You know what I'm saying?
Nancy said, like in Puerto Rico, like every other place is still colonized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In their own countries, this is how they feel about the things. You know, I found the term. It's mejora la raza. Hope I said that right. Yeah. But it's improved the race.
I think I said it on that podcast. All the people, the majority of them that's coming to America are leaving poor, jacked up neighborhoods. The whole point is I want to be like white people. They living good. They They got the white picket fence, the dog, the cat, the boy, and the girl. I'm living.
You ain't got to be white to get that.
Right, and they don't present that way.
Yeah.
In the media,
plus,
anything you see for black people is hood stuff and all that. Even for us. Choking on chips. Even for us though, the images they've always shown us from Africa has been for 1 cent a day.
Yeah.
Starving child.
Exactly.
Like,
we up there eating that porridge with our hand and shit. Little black boy with his belly, flies crawling in his eyes. But y'all motherfuckers was wrong for that shit.
I thought all of the whole continent was that.
Yeah.
That's on images they show us.
And even to today, if they show you something with black people in Africa, they're gonna be poor.
Yeah.
You know that Nigeria is one of the most beautiful cities I didn't ever seen
in South Africa. Oh, nice.
Ghana, Cameroon. I mean, all these places. But like you said, they won't show us. You get the care commercial, like you said. The little boy sitting there with a ditch dug by the side of his house.
Dead bodies and animals in it. Shit.
You know what? For one of the next time we talk about that, I'm gonna find that girl that I told y'all about that makes fun of people who ask us stupid questions. Do y'all have internet? No.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
We run from house to house gathering information.
Right. We talk to each other with cans and strings.
Yeah.
That's
exactly how she talked to him too.
When I first saw what it Lagos, Africa.
Lagos.
Yeah, man. I'm like, this shit look like Wakanda. You know what I'm saying?
That was beautiful.
Super dope. And, you know, they complain about the traffic, but I'm like, shit, nigga, I let my feet do the walking. But yeah, it's all about because you know, of course, when they show the white race, all of them doing great.
Everybody doing great.
They don't show
everybody. They're not showing nobody that's poor. They're not showing none of those folks. But those folks exist.
Yeah, they exist. You don't know they exist till you move here.
Right.
And when you get here,
find out the American dream
it's like
the whole time.
It's like everybody think New Orleans is just the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, I love New Orleans. Like, come to my part of New Orleans. Okay. You just traveling between.
You traveling between this and this, right?
Right.
That is not all of New Orleans, right?
Go to the back of the French Quarter, make a right, and then make a left, and then you'll see the real New Orleans. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna play this commercial, then we're gonna continue on. Hey, Cyclebreakers. I'm Chanel Baptiste, your favorite no bullshit therapist and mental wealth coach, and founder of Choosing Empowerment. As barrier breakers, our core values are founded in the power of choice and the power of healthy relationships. We are dedicated to our mission to provide access to mental health services for marginalized and disenfranchised communities. Our primary communities that we serve are Black, people of color, foster and adopted, LGBTQIA, and formerly incarcerated communities. We fully understand the internal and external barriers facing our communities that prevent them from seeking care. We realize that one of our greatest assets and tools is connection. Therefore, we connect to our communities by letting them know that we see them, we hear them, we understand them, because we are them. We seek to educate and inform so that our communities are aware that it's okay not to be okay. But here at the Cyclebreaker Village, it's a safe place for healing, so you don't have to stay that way. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to us at nobs@choosingempowerment.com. We break barriers so you can break cycles. Yeah, we do.
Sure enough. Just be breaking things, breaking barriers, cycles, dishes.
You know. We'll give y'all a shout out for that too, because last week y'all remember to play the commercial.
You seen that, huh?
Yeah, bro, right on point,
I said, Ashley looked like he was about to say something. I said, Ash, you was getting ready to say something? He said, no. I said, all right, we're about to cut into this commercial right fast.
Yep, it was so
And then when I
smooth.
came back, I'm like, not only do we talk about the problem, we got solutions for your ass. You know?
That was so smooth. Y'all good at this. I'm just saying. I picked the right people.
We playing. Hey, man, we was going back and forth, making sure we remembered all this. Don't let me forget about the commercial. I was like, I got you. And he just remembered about the commercial.
He's my brothers, y'all. Like, don't sleep on him. You know what I'm saying? It's good blood.
I'm not gonna lie though. It was funny when he was getting ready to start pushing them buttons.
Yeah, man. I was like,
now you see what I be going through. You're like, wait a minute. Now say it. But let's see what happens. And then you roll with whatever happens because we don't pretend to be perfect here. Exactly. And I love that, right? If we mess up, we mess up. You know what I'm saying? So our next episode after that was a good one. It was a preschool to prison pipeline.
That was very in depth.
Yeah. Rochelle was like spitting knowledge, solutions.
Yes, indeed.
I hope y'all ready to build a new system.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The prisoner pipeline joint. It was important. Like it was super. It was. I think that was one of our most like all of them have 100% value and they're 100% useful. But that one, I think it was like so important, and I really hope like the rewatches, people that just happen to come across it, what I'm saying, get on that. Because even when Brittany was talking about how the college thing was going, and I was sitting there, I was trying not to be mad about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was trying to, stay balanced. I was like, boy, the fuckery is everywhere. You know what I mean?
When I tell you everywhere and at every level, even like when she talks about her not being able to find an internship. Like that's part of the problem too, right? Because you got people that's coming out of school, they need an internship in order to graduate.
Right.
Why that's not set up better? Right. And why is nobody offering and so that's why I was very intentional. I was already intentional about it to begin with, but once I met Brittany and she told me her story and how she ended up getting to me and all that, I was like, nah, we're gonna create a whole ass program and I'm gonna take as many interns as I can because you need it. It. Period. Like you can't get out of school without it. And if you don't find one, you fucked.
Right. And Sallie still gonna come for that money.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So I'm here if you got an internship that you need to complete as well.
There y'all go.
You want to work with these populations. Okay.
Yep.
So, but yeah, and we definitely gonna talk part 2, 3, 4, 5, 17 on that one.
Right. I would like to do some follow up, just I'm saying how things are going with that, and if a new law of something fucking come out, you know what I mean? Because it is, because I mean it's as soon as they started putting the cops in school, I was like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because when we was in high school at Nichols, we had a security guard, it's called him and Booker he wasn't a good security guard. I remember he caught him smoking weed in the hallway.
He was present.
Look, that man said, "Don't hide it, divide it." I said, "Damn!" I just walked right past him. I was like,
"You need a quality security guard."
Exactly. That's why he had no problems.
Oh God!
It was educational. They kind of put that shit behind their back. He said, "Don't hide it, divide." I was like, "Damn, that's some pimping ass shit."
It is. And if you're somebody out there that have solutions, or you are a teacher or an administrator or something, and you want to be on the show and talk more about that stuff, like we want to help with solutions and try to put things together. George said when we had police when I was going to school in Memphis from junior high on up. Oh yeah, because Memphis is just like New Orleans.
Yeah, I lived in Memphis for a year. My kids went to school in Memphis. Shit, y'all need to believe, man. Orange Mountain ain't no joke.
They're Memphis folks or something.
Yeah, I went through Orange Mountain thinking I was gonna find 8-Ball and MJG, like they were just gonna be hanging out. I was very disappointed. I was like, is that Crunchy Black? Nah, shit. It's a regular black guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness. And then we came to one of our favorites, Christianity. Yeah, we challenged Christianity.
The blood sacrifice.
How many people out there got mad? Nobody. I haven't seen any comments on that one yet, but I haven't been looking lately.
Right.
I've been busy, but I'm gonna check it out and see if anybody's.
I know who didn't watch it. You know, a certain person who said, "I don't really comment on her stuff about God."
Right. I don't even know if I sent her an invite or not, but it's on the rewatch if she wants to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and we accept all comments and all that kind of stuff. Right. And I love all my people, but I still feel how I feel. You know. So
right now, my worry, the only concern I had with the Christianity one was that I didn't want people to get the wrong impression. That's why, somewhere in there, I said,
you continue.
We're not atheists. You know what I mean? It's just that, don't believe necessarily the way that you believe, and especially to take things verbatim. Because things are parables and things are examples. And I think a lot of the Bible is examples. I think the Bible basically teaches you how to be a good Christian. The issue, what I'm saying, the negative issue of it is how it was used amongst Black people. Y'all gotta remember this is a Black show.
Black power, Black excellence.
Right. So how it was used on Black people, because you can't tell me that I should serve a God that says, you should be a slave. Right. And not even just be a slave, be a quality slave. But then tell me the veil has been removed. You is free. You know what I'm saying? But I'm free. You're not really free though. Right, but you still got a slave though. Wait a minute. And I think a lot of times in church, they skip over all of those important factors. You know what I mean? They skip over. They'll spend more time on tithing than they'll spend on the, because when you break the Bible down, it's like God created a problem, then he blamed the people, and then he became the solution for the problem that he caused. It's like
and Christianity still follows that narrative today.
Exactly.
God is in control. So you're experiencing what you're experiencing because God wanted you to experience the thing. Now you need to pray to make it go away. But but he created it for you anyway. So why are you praying for it to go away? But ask him because he's your father, right? And you should ask and all that. But like if it work out, then it's for you, and that's what needed to happen. But if it don't work out, it wasn't God's timing. And so don't worry about it. It'll come when
you gotta hold fast. You know what I mean? Gotta hold fast,
which don't make no sense to me at all.
Right. It's like I'm gonna put the tree of knowledge right here, and then I'm gonna make it very noticeable. Yeah. So you have no knowledge, but you're supposed to know not to touch this tree.
Right.
Okay, so
tree, then you're gonna know shit. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need you to know shit. Then you're gonna know what I know.
Exactly.
And I don't want you to know what I know, even though I created you in my image. Because you do know, but I don't want you to know.
Here's a good question. So if the tree had all the knowledge, so basically when he created Adam and created Eve, they were stupid.
Yeah.
Basically.
They were stupid.
Yeah, they had
I want to keep you stupid, but I'm gonna take this tree and I'm gonna put it right smack dab in the middle.
Sure enough.
But don't eat it. Don't that sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds like the government. You know what I'm saying? Sounds governmental as shit. I'm gonna fuck you over like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
think about it. What did slave masters do for you for centuries? They kept Black people from learning how to read, learning how to write.
They needed to stay stupid.
Learning how to count. Well, they had to teach them how to count, but they learn basic math. You can count from 1 to 10, nigga. That's all I need you to do. It's 10 cups. Make sure we got 10 cups.
Right.
And so makes you think, like, did slave masters learn how to be slave masters from the Bible?
Oh, that is a good question. Like, where did they get this concept of, well, yeah, that is a good topic. Get the goddamn pen out. Well, because, I mean, slavery didn't really start in America. So slave owning been a thing. So, it could have been passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
Like
because
mayonnaise, you know what I'm saying?
The colonists that left England and came to America, they left because they opposed slavery and didn't want to be ruled by a king.
Right.
But when they got here, to make everything work and have the same creature comforts they had in England, they brought the slave thing to America and eventually convinced everybody, this is going to make life easy for you.
Right. And they made a hell of a lot of money.
They made a hell of a lot of money.
Shitload of money.
You gonna always make money with free labor.
All the time.
Small investment, big return.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. And I'm not surprised. I really thought that the haterade was gonna come heavy.
Yeah, but I haven't checked the comments lately. I'm gonna go back and check it this evening and see if we got any haterade happening.
Yeah, because a lot of people won't say nothing.
Yeah, but I don't mind that I ain't gonna call it hate comments, but the people that disagree comments.
Yeah.
But I would love if somebody's gonna disagree, give me an opposing point of view. Don't just say, no, that's good. God is good all the time.
Yeah,
but give me something else.
Something to right. And it's the same thing we talk about like with other opposing views, like with Trump supporters, with the Christianity piece, with any of it, like because there was somebody on, I think, with the black person versus brown in the comments. He was like, I listened to 3-4 minutes of this, and what the fuck did I just listen to?
Right.
And my comment back was like, thank you for your comment. However, I don't know which 3 or 4 minutes you listened
to. Right.
And what did you disagree with? Because again, we want discord. We want to talk about the things, right? Exactly. And all that. And it's cool to say you disagree, but we want to know why. We want to have a conversation.
Right.
But Brian said it before. You're challenging people's core values on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know. And but you need to be able to support your own values with your thought process and your evidence.
Right.
But when your mind is telling you, oh shit, they making sense, your heart is saying, no, it can't be. That's what I believe. This has got to be right. So you say, I listened to 3 or 4 minutes of this shit. What the hell did I listen to? Tell me what 3 or 4 minutes you listened to. Oh, I ain't commenting back on that. Because now it's going to turn into you. You're going to tell me the 3 or 4 minutes you listened to. I'm going to ask you the next question. Now you got to think, and your brain going to keep telling. Yeah, your brain going to keep saying, "Oh, your shit ain't right," or maybe you need to think about it. But you want to believe,
causes people to think, and they don't want to do that. Right. Thus, the willful ignorance that we talked about. Yeah. You don't want to have to think. It is easier to be controlled because I am comfortable in this space. At least I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Rather than challenging the status quo and getting or being better.
Right. And it's not a minimized to anybody, but right. Like you want to respond like a kid. You just want to lash out. But have the whole conversation, because now I'm gonna put you in a position where, and it's not even nothing you got to prove, especially with the with the faith episode, with you know what I'm saying, with that episode, because that's your faith. That's
your faith, right?
Yeah, you don't have.
You have a right to talk about your stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to prove that, but you have the freedom and the right to believe the way you want to believe. But so does everybody else,
right?
And that's just the whole thing. And so, like, if you're gonna come with a negative comment, we welcome the negative comment.
Yeah,
but you talk. Talk to me. Talk to me. Because to me that always feels like people that walk past and go, oh, bitch ass nigga. And then when you make the block and be like, man, what the fuck you said? And then now you still, you're like, man, I ain't saying nothing. Right. Then why you came out here with that? You know what I'm saying? But now it's now you have to be accountable for what you say. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You want to see the best? You want to see the best example of that? When you go to work and y'all have a meeting and you got that one Karen or Carl that bitch and complain about everything at work, and then your boss go, okay, Karen, I hear you. What you think we ought to do about it?
Oh yeah, they ain't got no answers.
They ain't got no answers. It's easy to bitch and complain about shit. Okay, you bitching and complaining, you must have a solution.
Right.
Gotta be a better way.
Oh,
right.
I don't know. That's like when my kids were younger and they used to be bitching and complaining about stuff, and I go, okay, what you think we should do about it? Then shut the fuck up. We're gonna do it like this.
Damn, you
come up with a better solution.
Disclaimer: Fred doesn't talk to his kids that way.
Yes, I do.
Does not tell his children to shut the hell up. Say, hey guys, think of a solution and come back to me, and we can discuss it as a family. That's what he meant.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what
I really meant to say was, don't come yelling at me with all this blah, 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 blah bullshit if you don't have a solution to the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's okay. Because I don't tell them to shut the fuck up. Right. I do tell them what I just said a minute ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh,
Lord have mercy. I can't say what I say to my kids because I am Cheryl's daughter. So
yeah. Yeah, we no disclaimer on
we
that.
Said something today. She was and I was like, thank you so much. And she looked at me. I said, I know I'm wanting to talk, huh? You learned that language from me. I'm not mad. You know. But the other thing, without spoiling it for anybody, is there are undertones about faith and Christianity and sinners. So which I thought because it's called Sinners.
So, well, yeah. I was expecting it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But go watch that movie. That movie was fire.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit.
I can't wait to talk about it. Y'all need to go see it like soon. When y'all gonna see
it? Next week sometime.
Because we need to. I know we're gonna be on our podcast vacation, but maybe we need to have a special one to talk about that movie.
Right. Because there will be commercials. We will be popping in and out. Look for us now. Yeah. And you know what? Sinners could be a good chop up. You know, just chop it up about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, I need a movie date. Yeah. See if I can set up a movie date.
You need to set up a movie date because it's so good. So good. So now we roll up to our last episode before today. That the men were doing their damn thing last week.
The men's
talking about men's mental health and things.
Men's mental health.
And we got really good reviews on that too. And somebody said more of this.
Thank you, somebody.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so if you did not watch that last week or has not watched the rerun, please partake.
Y'all need to check that out. Trying to help y'all women learn how to treat your man like the king.
First, they try to help themselves figure out what they need to do. But women, there were things in there for you too.
Right.
And fellas, it was some stuff in there for y'all too.
As I rewatched it, like I said, and I was, telling my bros earlier, that like I didn't have a man in my house, full time, to be able to see what that looked like and know how to treat a man or a husband, or a partner or whatever. And it was very, very informative for me too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 53 whole years old, but I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that would have been a regular casual conversation between me and my brothers. It might come up, but it might not. Right. But because y'all were talking about it in a group of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was lots of freedom flowing in that room.
Right. Right. And I really enjoyed it. And I love the the age range.
Yes.
Age range was nice.
And George, if you still watching, you got to come on in next time.
Yeah, George.
G Boogie.
G Boogie.
Let me down, man.
That wasn't his fault. I ain't sent him the link. I messed up.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if he was doing something anyway, but
that was George's time to shine right there.
Talking about
right.
And then it was 5. I lied.
Yeah, I like that age group because it showed that it's not just an older man problem.
Right.
Yeah, Asher was in his 20s. Brian, Devontae and Lil Fred in their 30s. We in our 50s. We all want
George would have been perfect if George in his 40s.
Thing.
Right.
Yeah. That would have been George.
Drop the ball, George.
Man.
Yeah.
That's
on there. They ain't even doing it, George.
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying
that was George's time to shine, man. But
George
it's a that was it's a all men.
Did I get the ear?
Yeah, get the boo, man.
Oh, I got a boo. All right. Well, at least you didn't go, ew.
Nah. Oh, damn, I should have did that when I forgot. but yeah, it was good. I hope that men that tuned in and anybody on the rewatch, I hope that brothers look at it and they they realize like, yo, I thought that shit was just me. It's not everybody. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Everybody.
And that, I'm saying, you support it. And there are places, that you can reach out to. You know what I mean? We provide one right here. And it's called, what's it called now?
Empowerment.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Reach out.
And
right now we got all women, but again, if you interning, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What?
Right.
Also, I know some black male therapists, and I can refer you if you need a black male therapist. So
there you go.
You're still good.
There you go.
And right, and it's not about and I like that it didn't center around because none of us that was on the on the panel, nobody's insane or crazy or going through. You could be living your regular life, but you just have those those frustrations and you don't have nobody to talk to because we talked about that. Like we don't really have that outlet. You know what I'm saying? Not at your full disposal. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because we, as man to man, we don't really approach each other from an emotional standpoint. We approach each other from a manly, masculine standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So if you need to go outside of your friends, you go outside of your friends. And really, that's why it's easier for most men to be more vulnerable when they're talking to women.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a man might be having problems at home, and then we'll talk to that female coworker and be like, me and my lady really going through, you know what I'm saying? And you could be a little more softer there, which goes back to what I was saying before, because the first woman in your life you was able to be vulnerable with. You know what I'm saying? So it gets easier over there. Now here come the problem. That woman who you talking to at work might be looking for a sensitive man. Now here you sensitive.
He's showing his sensitive side.
Exactly. And you're going through at home. She's filling the gap. Here come problems. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I wanted ladies to get from it is learn how to listen to your man. You know what I'm saying? Let your masculinity down. Let that guard down because women do tend to be guarded a lot. You ask them a question, you sometimes get that hard answer. You know what I'm saying? Like my biggest fear is female cops. For real. Because I'm always scared, like, oh man, she gonna have something to prove. Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't have to slam me because I paused at a stop sign. I didn't run. You know what I mean? And I'm not wanted. But a lot of times I think ladies feel like, they have something to prove. And then in relationships, they trying to stand their ground. And then sometimes they stand in their ground, and I just recently seen that, like watched it happen over the weekend. That man is being extra soft, but his lady is being extra firm. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it's biting at his manhood. So then when we start barking back,
then there's a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I'm on and speaking on behalf of and to the ladies. As well, I also understand that it is hard to not operate in masculine energy when you don't feel safe. I understand that completely. But you also, when you are in a safe space, you got to recognize it's a safe space. You got to trust it a little bit, and you got to let that thing down a bit. In order to feel safe, you got to allow yourself to feel safe, right? And all that, and then go with the flow. And but it is difficult. But we'll have a show about that too. We're gonna have a lady show too. You know, and all that. But like, there's a lot of balance that needs to happen between those things. But if you're one thing that I learned even from the show, right, is just the presence of you being supportive to him, even in physical touch. I learned that. Physical touch.
Right.
I didn't realize. I know they want to have sex all the time, but I didn't know they just want to be touched.
Right.
They like snuggling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I found out men like being a little spoon.
Right, because look, and I've seen like on social media, the little clips where the dude that his girlfriend or wife or whatever, she get it, then he jump out the bed like it's insulting. Brothers don't fall for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not realistic. And that's why I said in there, I said a lot of times that when when a woman embraces a man, or when a man is embraced, period, it's either, if it's your significant other, then of course it's a big deal. If it's somebody else, it's kind of awkward, because we receive the least amount of physical contact than any other living being on earth. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Pornhub got so much goddamn money. You know,
literally, I think trees get hugs more than y'all do.
Exactly. And that's a mental health issue, man. And you know what I saw that reminded me of that too? I saw a clip where they had a series of like toddlers when their daddies got home in the evening, how excited, and they run up and they just and they see them at the like, and all that. And that daddy was walking in that door so like elated to get that embrace from that toddler, because they are so super happy that daddy is home. Right. Exactly. And it brought me back to the podcast, and I was like, Sure
and then, I want to be around this kid all the time because the kid giving me what I need.
Exactly. And like I said in the podcast, unfortunately, you reach adulthood, stop. You get no more of that, and you're not even supposed to.
So, like, at what point in childhood does it stop?
It's usually teen years, honestly.
Teen years.
As soon as somebody,
elementary, you can still get.
Oh yeah. Elementary, you can still get it. Still get it. But
when you hit 13,
Well, I would say like around 16. I would say around.
They expecting you to be a man,
right? As soon as you start looking manly, that's it. You got to start acting like it, even though you have zero experience in that. You have zero fucking experience in that. And don't be 20. It's super over. You know what I mean? Your ass expected to pay taxes and shit. And that's the thing, you'll never get it again. And it's unfortunate that a lot of women are, younger, especially the younger generation, they being taught that you're not even supposed to do none of that. You know what I mean? Like none of that. And these young men learning that. So, what I mean?
So you're creating it all over again. At what age would you say the man up and you can't cry starts?
That shit seemed to start at walking age.
Yeah.
I done heard people say that, like, they look. Matter of fact, I saw this clip, and it's this one dude. He talks about relationships. He was showing the video. It was this little boy. He was definitely in elementary school age, and he was at a batting cage, and he swung, and the ball missed. He missed, and the ball hit him. And the dad was like, all right, shake it off. Matter of fact, it hit his hand. And he was like, shake it off. Try again. And the little boy was crying. He was like, don't cry, man up, hit the ball again. And I commented like, little dude probably sitting there with 4 fractured fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, you talking about man up.
Exactly. The thing that pissed me off about it was, that's not teaching him how to be a man.
It's not.
Not there's nothing about being a man. And then
teaching him to hide his pain.
Right. And then he comes back on like that's what our youth need. They need, somebody to teach them.
Oh, you talking about old boy video.
Yep, yeah.
And
he goes into all this, and I immediately go to the comments. This lady was saying, like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not, and she clearly made it all cap. I'm not trying to debate. So you know what that meant? They was gonna debate.
Debate.
Yep. She was like, I'm not trying to debate, but I would check on my son and make sure he was all right. Then, I bring him back up there and try again.
Yeah.
You start lighting up. Damn, that's the problem. No, nigga, you the problem. You the problem. You the problem. Because now when he make about 17 or 18, he walking around, his hands all fucked up because you didn't take care of him then. That's not fair. There's nothing about that teaches him how to be a man. Of course, things are gonna fucking happen. Do I need to go through physical fucking pain and then ignore that physical pain in order to prove who the hell am I proving what to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then when he hit the ball, oh, good job, you hit the ball. I'm like, yeah, now take his ass to the fucking ER. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you.
Now you can get healing. And
that was a freaking baseball. They got 8-year-olds that can throw baseballs at like 50 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you ain't never got hit with a baseball before, with somebody throwing with all their strength, that shit hurt.
Yeah, it hurt.
Right. and it what hurt. They don't see with that type of teaching is it teaches young men that in order for me to get help, I need permission first.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? I can't.
I have to perform first because he had to hit the ball.
Exactly, in order to receive. It's just like because I hate when people do that to their pets. You want to give him a snack, but he got to shake your hand first, or he got to roll over. Like, why the fuck you got to do a trick? Just give him the shit. That's why you took the shit out. So that's all that teaches him. Because if you're an independent adult, grown man playing for the New York Yankees, and that fucking ball hit your hand, you're gonna drop that bat. You looking at the doc, like, hey man, come fucking check me out. But I'm gonna teach my child, nah, you can't reach out for help until you accomplish the fucking goal first.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. All I'm saying is Kanye West. Look at this shit. look at this dude.
Real stuff. What y'all enjoyed about doing that episode the most?
The camaraderie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the camaraderie, yeah. And I think the fact that we talked about, women with their men, but we also talked about men with their women and holding themselves accountable. We didn't let them off the hook.
Right.
Like this wasn't no, we're gonna beat the hell out of all the women. I didn't, because I didn't feel bashed at all.
Right.
No. Because it's a bunch of
informative.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stupid dudes out there.
Mm-hmm.
They got dudes that act like plum assholes and don't deserve the lady in the shirt with the Heineken. They don't deserve her.
Yeah, ladies, don't be out there doing nothing for you doing all the lovey stuff.
Exactly.
For a nigga that ain't doing shit. Like, if you're doing what you gotta do, then yeah. But like, if you gotta get rid of a nigga, get rid of a nigga.
Right, and know that doing what you gotta do is not monetary. It's not always monetary. It's usually not at all. You know what I'm saying? The best times is the times y'all struggled up together.
Yeah, and you're right. You're absolutely right. How did y'all feel as fathers? Put y'all sons on there.
It was cool.
Yeah, I was very proud. I was very proud of the mayor of Kingstown, which is what I called it right there.
The mayor of Kingstown?
Yeah. And his microphone was dope too. Damn, that microphone.
Yeah, he had a dope microphone.
That shit sounded so good. I was like, wait, don't even say nothing, man. That microphone is nice. But yeah, it was a good feeling. And my nephew kicked ass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had to call him up and tell him to make sure his damn phone was charged all the way. At least to 85% next time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just turn us. Make sure your phone charged.
Right.
But I was proud of him. The fact that I could see when Fred started going, and then Brian just went, and was just like,
he sat back, like
it's your show, bro. Go for it.
Yes.
You know.
You know, he was
Yeah,
speaking.
I thought he had a he been waiting on the opportunity to talk about this.
Right.
And I was like, I said, man, have at it. Yeah, and we definitely gonna bring them back again. And I'm telling you, Asher.
Oh
Asher looks like a professional podcaster. I'm real. Look, I'm looking at him like, I'm gonna angle my camera to the side like that, you know?
Yeah, because he did have a good angle.
I'm like, this dude is really good at this shit. And he made some good freaking points. Like our guests that night were perfect. Freaking perfect. The flow was good. The topics were easy to read for people who feel like things are getting too deep. But and it made sense. Like nobody was on no kind of goofy stuff. You know what I mean? Nobody was on no kind of dumb shit. But it was good. And I like those perspectives. And I love that the perspective from 8 to 80 came right back to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I love that.
Absolutely. So we got definitely gonna do that again. Y'all think of some good topics y'all want to talk about, or if it's general like it's been, you know what I'm saying? Because all of it comes together,
right
every time with the rest of the stuff, So good stuff. So we had a really good season.
I know, man. This is
man,
and it was fun.
It was.
It was real fun. Yes. So next season is going to. Oh wait, and they said that podcast was the first men's podcast I didn't click out of in the first 5 minutes. Oh.
All right, thank you.
That's easy to do on men's podcast. You'd be like, fuck this shit. They woman bashing. Did they say, nah, fuck that?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've done it. I see a bunch of men at the table and they start talking about, traditional this and I'd be like, click, gotta be all talking about the same damn thing.
Exactly. Because if your shit ain't together, you can't expect no together shit,
Exactly. So
no, Ashley, we appreciate you, buddy.
Co-host.
Ashley will be back in the house.
Oh yeah,
he will definitely.
We talked to him about that immediately after. It was like, because you're coming back.
We just need to send him a link and say, just jump in when you feel like it.
Jump in when you feel like it. I love it. Oh, and I love intellectual conversation. Oh yeah, them alpha male podcasts. They too much.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good topic too, because I like 10. Get the pen. Get the pen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And while we talk about alpha males, we can also talk about alpha females.
Yeah, there's some scary chicks, man.
Yeah.
Being that bitch pressing 500 pounds.
I impersonated one for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like, being tough and like again, I operate in masculine energy or whatever, and recognized later on it was like lack of safety.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
because masculine energy is a protector, right?
Right.
If you don't have the protector, then you have to be the protector,
right?
And all that. And so men be mad at women for using masculine energy, but I'm like, who's protecting the women?
Right.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because when I used to see you was all girly.
Y'all never see me like that because y'all are my brothers and y'all are my protectors.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember at Uncle Percy's funeral, and my girls didn't come to the service, right? And they'll say that when I'm around y'all. But like, and I told them that I was like, oh no, at the funeral, I was sitting, y'all sitting together, and then I was sitting on the end. I'm like, no, I need to be in the middle.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, you did come jump your ass in the middle.
And I am a little girl when I'm around y'all, right? And all that, because I have the freedom to be vulnerable because y'all not gonna let nothing happen to me.
Exactly.
No. And of course, and then
that's why y'all like, you were?
And we're gonna be like, why the hell are you over here acting like a damn dude?
Right.
We gonna check your ass.
We got you. What are you doing? Right.
What are you doing?
And it happened when I was on Black Show on Speak On It. Shout out to Black. And he had my boo come on because we was talking about long distance relationships and all that. And Black was like, man, he need to come on here more often because you wasn't mean, you wasn't jumping on my ass.
You was all girly that show.
Oh yeah, you watched that night, right, Brad?
I was on the show that night.
You was on that night?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, I ain't never seen you like this before. And I was like, two of my protectors are here.
Yeah,
so I know you not gonna fuck with, you can't fuck with me while they're here.
Right.
That's why he got it. That's why he got to show up for the next men's night. He don't have a choice. He can talk to us while he Ubering. I don't care. He was on Black show. He got to be on ours.
All right, then. I'm gonna send him this one. I'm gonna send him just this clip right here.
Yeah, like, right.
You got called out.
He in Minnesota. I ain't scared of him.
Oh, mercy. Yeah, I will do that. So what we gonna do, audience? We're gonna take 4 weeks off. So we be back on the 6/1 on the 1st. But in between that, we're gonna send out some clips. We might do a little something here and there. You know what I'm saying? You know, the fellas talking about, they're gonna film themselves doing little things and all that kind of stuff.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, I got my little travel mic now, so you.
All right, yeah. So you'll still be hearing from us, and we'll be still posting things and all that kind of stuff. I want to invite everybody to stay engaged through the cycle breaking groups. I made a little graphic. Yes, I did.
Ooh, that's
Cycle breaking black men. You got cycle breaking black women and cycle breaker village. If you're not a black man, don't join this group. You're not gonna get approval. If you're not a black woman, same deal. The cycle breaking village is all inclusive. Don't matter race, color, creed, sexuality. Don't matter. The cycle breaking village is for everybody. These other two are specific. There are other groups, but they're not very active yet because I can't do everything. So there's cycle breaking people of color. They got incarceration cycle breakers, breaking freedom change, what else I got? False and adoptive families. That's a cycle breaking group too. So they got plenty of cycle breaking groups. But these are the 3 that's the most active right now because that's as much as we can do. And Fred and Brian gonna start getting into the men's group and helping y'all with conversations since now they started this men thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a place for real. Too. It's just conversation, y'all. It's just asking those questions, having a safe space, and all that. I would like it if I don't have to even be in there. I'm only there as a professional expert and to manage the background thing. I don't want to be in the conversation. I don't want to have to ask no questions. I want to just be y'all safe space. Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's the goal with that. Some other stuff that we do have coming up is y'all gonna meet the team, the cycle breaking barrier breakers of choosing empowerment. I'm gonna start doing some interviews with my team. So y'all met a few of them, Nancy and Brittany and Rochelle. And so we'll start talking more to them individually. Those will probably be pre-recorded and all that. Me and my girls gonna do a little something, little mother-daughter stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got to heal the broken relationships between mothers and daughters. Fred, you messing with the things?
I know. There you go. Clickety clack. Clickety clacking ass.
My bad, man. I grabbed
episode 2. Oh, was it 1?
The mouse fell.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. It's fine. But anyway, so me and my daughter's gonna do a mother-daughter thing. It's gonna kind of be a series because I figure I did a good job breaking some cycles, so we should talk about it. Because there's like, Mama, I forget that you're an anomaly, and everybody ain't got a good mama like you. And I was like, well, thank you very much. We should talk about that.
There you go.
And all that. So, and I encourage y'all when y'all talking about the men things. We sure are. And I encourage y'all when y'all talking about the men things, and talk about the father-son stuff because that's important stuff too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh. Maybe we should get our father on here.
Oh shit.
Ooh. After work. Sure
okay. Invite. Y'all going to invite him. All right now.
That's gonna be a 3-hour podcast because he gonna talk for an hour and a half.
Y'all have to manage his time. Yes. Yeah. But in the meantime, like, share, save it, all the good stuff, right? And subscribe, people. We did go up by 11 subscribers in the last month.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think on Spotify. No, I think that's on YouTube. But we got some extra ones on Spotify too, and all that. So y'all got this. Like, subscribe. Y'all got us.
Yeah. By the 3rd episode of season 2, we want to be at 100 subscribers.
Oh, I like those numbers. By the 3rd episode, I got the pen.
So let it be written. So let it be.
Season 2. We gonna have 100 subscribers. That's on Spotify and on YouTube. That's what we're going for.
Sure. Yeah.
Y'all can get us there.
You got a YouTube. Damn it, you have a Spotify.
Spotify. Thank you.
2 clicks.
Let's go. You can do both. You don't have to do either or. You can do both.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you got YouTube Premium, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube Music.
Yeah.
That was news that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get YouTube Music for free. I just couldn't play YouTube Music on Virtual DJ.
I'm gonna start using my
YouTube. Nah, you can't use it on there.
Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, we're gonna get ready to roll out, and don't forget this: that we're conscious, we're aware, we stay prepared, and we ain't never scared.
Ain't never scared in this month.
Never scared.
Mm-hmm. And there were no phrases today that Brian could steal. So
see, she tried to.
Oh wait, next they get her father on here.
We'll have to discuss that off camera. Discuss that off camera.
You know, but if you want to have a show with your father and repair some things online in front of people, that would be awesome.
Right.
Yes, I would. I would definitely watch that.
You know, he'd be willing.
I would mediate.
Yeah, that would be a good mediator. I can't be no mediator.
Right.
Yeah. Are you neutral enough to be a mediator?
I'm professional.
All right, we're gonna stop.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Fuck That Bullshit podcast. Remember, this week and the next 4 weeks, keep your eyes out for what we're doing. But in on the real tip, don't be taking no bullshit off of people. Fuck all that bullshit.
Definitely. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah. So, y'all have a great evening, and we appreciate y'all. And wait, we didn't give our shout out. We didn't give shout outs to our people.
Dang.
Oh,
okay,
no,
obviously Nate, because she's been in here.
Obviously Nate.
Yeah.
We got
Asher, George, right?
Meta Association. Y'all go check them out.
Meta Association. George.
Y'all check out Meta Association. They are on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. So y'all have a great evening, and we shall see you soon. Good night.
Peace out.
Later.